Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to be staining stuff. So let me share with you what we're going to be doing. I showed this little guy in a recent haul from AC Moore when I was on my trip to my trip back home to Texas. And so we're going to stain him up. And then I told you what I want to do is just I'm going to stain him and just put some hair down his mane and the tail. I was going to put a little seat there, but I am deciding not to. And I'm going to be using this Cokes and Clark or Red Hearts, some ugly yarn that I have in my yarn collection. And I figured that we need to go ahead and use it because it's only just going to sit there if I don't do something with it. I'm going to use some Mod Podge at the end to seal in the color. And then we'll be done. So this project shouldn't take very long. I just need to get my stain. Alright, so I have my little makeshift mat here. And I think we may need to use this brush. Hopefully not, because it still has stickles on there from when I did another project. But, you know, a shiny coat and glitter doesn't hurt a horsey, right? So I'm going to just release some. And this is walnut stain. And hopefully it's not too dark. Let's see, let's try the bottom portion. Ooh, that's dark. But we're going to go with it, at least for the bottom. For the rocking portion, right? Let's see. I don't know. I'm not sure if I really like that it's so dark. I'll probably pull another coffee colored or dark color out just to see how it looks. Let's see. All right, let's try brush corduroy. These were picked up at Tuesday Morning last year when they were $1.50, $1.49. But if you have a Tuesday morning near you and you're like, I'm on a no spend, I don't want to go on Tuesday morning, then hopefully this doesn't enable you. But for people that are looking for these things, they're 99 cents this year, which is great. But it's not a lot in there. Like, I didn't find a lot. And they had like a Tim Holtz sale. What was it, 2 weeks ago? And my boyfriend doesn't understand time. So I wanted to leave and get there right at 11 o'clock, but I didn't. And on the way getting into the store, this lady was coming out. She had like 3 bags, and you could see kind of what was in the bag. So she had like the Tim Holtz stand, like 2 or 3 of those, and she had some other stuff. And I went in and I looked around. I saw a few things, like some of the smaller pieces, because I like small pieces to add on to various things. But I asked the sales clerk, and I asked her, I said, did you have any of this or that? And she was like, everyone's looking for that. I was like, I guess you didn't get it then. So it is what it is. I always feel like if I don't get it, and I can probably get it again. I mean, you can probably find these in a regular store or online if you really, really want them. But who wants to spend $3 or $4 when you can get them for 99 cents, right? So, it's strange how some of the Tuesday mornings are set up. Like, some Tuesday mornings get a load of stuff and then some of them don't. I'm just taking this lid off. I had planned on making a few more videos after this one. So now my hands are going to be stained. And so what I'm doing, hopefully I can, yep, I'm just taking my brush with the glitter on there and rubbing away. I want to make sure I get in the nooks and crannies of this little horse. When I saw this horse, I instantly was like, oh yes, it will look so pretty stained. I think for the next, because I've got 2 of these, for the other one that I make, it will not be a matching pair. I'm going to do a different color, I think. So, um, you know, I have signed up for a few things for the month of July. And I'm not sure when you'll see this video. You may see it in July, so then you'll know what I'm talking about. And I was talking to Deb, um, and I had asked her a question because it was so strange. Last night I went to sleep, and I went to sleep at like 9 something because I was really, really tired. I had woke up early, and I sometimes when I have a lot of stuff on my mind, I don't sleep that well. But for right now, I don't seem to have a lot of stuff on my mind. It is a few things that are troubling me within my family dynamic, so um, that could be the issue. I'm quite sure it is. So anyway, I woke up because I thought it was time to my normal wake up time, which it wasn't. It wasn't even midnight here in Texas when I got up. And so Deb had sent me a message. Um, and it was just so strange that I woke up at the time that she sent me the message, and we chatted back and forth. Not a long chat because, it was late. She probably was doing videos or something. I don't know. And I just asked her, did she think that anyone would get offended if I participated in multiple hops of the same thing? And she was like, no, I think you can handle it. I also sent the message to someone else that doesn't do video, just to see her take on it. So I think Deb was in the right place at the right time, because the usual suspects that I normally ask things, I'm quite sure they were asleep. But Deb sent me the message, so obviously she was awake, right? So thanks, Deb. I appreciate that. Her prompting prompted me to do it, and I'm excited about it. It's not here yet because we're still in June as the making of this video, but the year is going by so quickly, is it not? Or is it just me? You're probably thinking, why am I using so much? I don't have a problem with using a large amount on here. You can see the glitter right here. Can you see that little shine? No. So I don't have a problem with doing that. I think with the darker colors, I did grab like more than one. And hopefully, not Tim Holtz, Tuesday morning, we'll just have them in their normal stock. I normally don't look in that little bin because I'm like, oh, it's just the same old paint. And I have plenty of paint. I don't need to keep buying paint that I haven't used yet. So um, this would probably go much better if I just got my sponge brush right and laid some on a mat and just went to town with it. No. This would go good if I had a spray stain of this color, but I don't have that either. I just have green. No, I have a few colors, but they're not these colors. I had got them in a kit, like a stain mixed media kit. I really like to get things with instructions, so I can read them. Watching a YouTube video is fun. It's very helpful because someone's talking to you. But once I read it and then I watch the video, I'm like, oh, Eureka! It makes so much more sense now. Because not all the time do manufacturers of their products give you great instruction on it, but when they do give you great instruction, it's like awesome. Like this right here, the stain, you know, I think they're assuming that you know how to use it. It says shake well before using, remove cap, and lightly press against surface. And it says quick, easy ink. You can put it and mist it out and apply layers of stain of more saturated color. That's it. Now in the other kit, this like the alcohol kit that I picked up when it was on sale at Joann, it's a whole little booklet in there. It's a stamp set, I believe. It's a whole bunch of stuff in there, and it tells you how to use it, what to do, and I just like that. I really enjoy when manufacturers consider newbie people, new crafters, because not everybody's had a collection of stuff for the last 20 years. Not everybody's been crafting since they were 5. So it's nice that people consider beginners, because that's where your market is, right? Because most people that have been crafting for a long time, At some point, they're like, oh, I'm not going to spend any more money on this. I'm not going to buy anything else until I do this, right? But the new market, you're always going to see someone saying, oh, I got to have the entire collection of something, Brandy, right? That's how I feel, at least. Let me know what you think about manufacturers and instructions. I would like to know how you feel about it. Because now we're in a day and age that we just Google it, right? We don't even kind of take the time to research it and look it up ourselves in the book or anything. We just kind of Google it. Hey Google, how do you do, etc., etc., and Google comes on or Siri comes on and tells us, which is great for fast information if you're driving and you need to get to somewhere. But you know that old, when I was growing up and I didn't couldn't spell a word, my mom be like, look it up in a dictionary. Of course, I hated when she told me that because my mom was super duper smart. Um, can you use super duper in the same sentence? I guess I just did, so I guess you can. But she was extremely intelligent. See how I cleaned it up? And you know, she was great. She was great. Um, yeah, she was amazing. But when I was growing up, she used to be mean. For my own good, of course. I mean, you need to learn how to spell a word. You need to go to the dictionary. I'm quite sure a lot of people probably don't even have dictionaries in their homes anymore, but I have a few. I have Italian to English, English to Italian dictionaries. I have regular dictionaries. The one thing I don't have, which I don't think I need, is the Encyclopedia Britannica. You remember those books? Like, that's when they used to go door to door and sell books, right? They knock and say, would you like to be a part of this great opportunity? You can get all the encyclopedias on a small payment plan, just X amount of dollars per month or the whole year. Look, and they show you how they break it down and you get some books. Um, Now those books, the older encyclopedias are probably worth so much money. And I had the fortune of finding some when I lived in Connecticut. Not the whole entire volume. I didn't buy the volume. I only bought like four. And I don't know why I bought just those four. I think they had like a lot of pictures in it. I was like, oh, I can cut this up. And that's before I was into like for real paper craft. I was like, I can cut this up and make a collage, and I can do this, this, and this with this book, you know. But in the end, I ended up leaving those books in Connecticut when we moved back to Texas. Don't ask me why. I just felt like I didn't need them. At that point, you know, my mother had passed, and I wasn't in a good headspace at the time, so I didn't need books. So I went to the local library and I donated a lot of stuff. I'm quite sure it's like, who wants this crap? You don't even have a whole set, but I did. My boyfriend and I was talking about what we're gonna do with what I'm gonna do. He likes to say we a lot, but you know, when you're in a relationship, we really means you, unless it's something fun. Like if we're going to the amusement park, oh yes, we're going to go to the amusement park. But if it's like cutting grass, we don't cut the grass. No, one of us is going to cut the grass. Another person is going to say you missed a spot. That's what I do. He doesn't want me cutting the grass. As you all know, I hurt my leg cutting the grass a couple of months now. I think it was, what, February or March that I hurt myself. Um, I wouldn't say I hurt myself. I just exacerbated an old injury. So, yeah. Normally, I wouldn't use the heat tool to speed up the drying process. I kind of just let it dry. And I'll show you one that I kind of just let dry. I may have zapped it a little bit, but I'm going to zap this little horsey a lot. But you can see how the wood, and I don't remember what I did use with this. I think I used a stain, but you see how this wood has changed colors a little bit. And I really like how it, you know, I let it just sit there and saturate itself. Even the green piece that I sprayed the one that says home, and I put the little garden pieces on there from the Dollar Tree. The color is, I think it's like soaking in more, and it's giving that effect that I really want. And I have found my moss, so I'll make another one like that. If you've ever seen like kid movies or like fantasy movies, you know how the brush kind of hides the little fantasy world, and that's what I was going for when I made that piece. Let me show you real quick. So for people that didn't watch the video, you know what I'm talking about. Like this, you can see how the color's kind of fading in more. I think the next time I do it though, I'm going to definitely saturate the color, like heavily saturate it a lot more. So I may even try to pull out my not stains, my acrylic paints, and just paint something all over like that. We'll see. Did you guys get a chance to get any of the paint daubers? I got like two, purple and pink, I believe, like I said before. But I haven't seen anybody playing with them. Like, I definitely do not just go and buy stuff anymore. I'm more mindful of that as I'm getting a little bit more familiar with my crafting style, the things that I like to do. I definitely do not want to go crazy and buy a lot of stuff just so I can say, oh, I found a great deal and it was on sale. I actually want to use the stuff. And if I have friends that say, hey, I like, I don't know, paintbrushes, and they have paintbrushes on sale, then I'll let them know about it. But I don't need any paintbrushes. I have quite a few, and most of them are very inexpensive. I think I probably own like 3 expensive paintbrushes, and I got them when they were like on sale or of some sort. Because I don't consider myself to be a painter, as you can tell, um, with some of this right here. But I think that, and I was talking to Bruce Inkwell about this. I think that as people find their niche, they stop, buying everything. But when you're a new crafter, you feel like you need everything because you don't know your style. Unless you're lucky enough to know it already, like know what you want to do and know where you are with your crafting is. Because some people are super talented. All you need to do is give them the medium. Where others, like myself, I feel, and I've told you this before, like I really want to be a stamper. Like I bought all these stamping magazines or books I would check out from the library, and I was sucking at it for a while. I was like, I don't understand this, please. I didn't pray to God, but I guess I did pray to God. I was like, please let me like this. I love this. I love these stamps. I love this. Please let this be my thing, like one of my things. Like I never prayed to God and said, please let me be a knitter, because I don't like knitting. Not with the hooks, at least, the needles at least. I'm going to try it on this loom knitting thing and see how it works out, because it does seem fairly easy. I've said that before, and I'm still struggling with it. So we'll see. I bought some fluffy yarn. It's Barnett baby blanket, I think, and I want to make a little animal. I want to try to make that for my baby for Christmas. So I have some months left, and I just need to get on it. I watched a video, and the struggle is I am left-handed, and that's just honesty. When it comes to some things, people that are right-handed don't understand that you've been living in this right-handed world your entire life, so of course it's going to be easier for you to do things, whereas when you're left-handed, it's not always the easiest to do. Please don't tell me this is matte. It is matte. Oh no. I found some Mod Podge glitter. Do I want a sparkly pony? No, we're going to make him dull. We'll make him dull. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. At first I wasn't going to do the handles, but hey, why not? I hope that I am and not boring you too much with this guy. I guess a lot of the crafts that I make are more like chatty crafts than others. Hopefully that's okay. I know I've gotten a few comments that people like it, and then Some people have written that they don't want me to talk so much about the things that I uh, like my life. They don't want me to share my life with you all. And I just deleted those comments. um, because that's really what I do. I usually do a lot of crafting and chatting. Some project shares, I'll come on and I'll just share with you the project. Um, and probably in the month of July, you'll see me do some project shares more so than craft and chat projects. Yep. So, all right, I'm going to go off camera really quickly and dry this little pony up, and then I'll plug in the glue gun. We'll cut some strands, and we will move on. All right, so I got the glue gun going. It's going to take a little while. I have a Dairy sponge applicator paintbrush thingy, and I have some water, and of course I have my Podge. Now the only thing that I should have done and I didn't is get the glossy finish. But even though it's matte, in my experience, matte still sometimes dries shiny. And I'll tell you one thing that I don't do that I learned the hard way. I don't pour into my cap. I just kind of dip in here because most of my projects are clean. They're not like a whole bunch of different colors. So I was kind of worried about this one in particular because it is brown. But I guess I'm not too concerned about it. The reason why I don't pour into my cap, I know a lot of people recommend that you pour into your cap, is because in my experience it has stuck onto the lid and it was hard to get off. I had to like take some, see, it's going to turn brown, so give me 1 second. Okay, I had to pry it off with like a, I had to get a screwdriver, not a screwdriver, yeah, flat head screwdriver, and pry it off. So I don't pour it in the lid anymore. And so now I'm just going to bring it over paper plate or styrofoam plate. And I don't want to be too heavy handed on here. I have another project that I'm going to be working on after this one that's going to require some sealing, I guess you can say. So no big deal about the excess in the plate, but I don't want to put it too much on my little horsey because he's going to have to dry. And while he's drying some, I'm going to let him air dry a bit. And you see this is already complete and I like it. But I want to make sure I get the entire horse, not just the seat, because no one's going to be riding this little horse. Not to my knowledge, at least. Alrighty. My son is in the phase of asking people their name. He's like, "What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?" And one of the ladies at Tuesday morning loves him, I guess. She's like, "I'm going to take him from you." And I was like, not today. She said, "Last time you said I could take him with you." I was like, "That's when he was running around being a banshee." Um, she just laughed. And she's Ukrainian, I believe. So, she seems like a very, very nice lady. Um, but I was just like, you know, before, when he was newborn, this lady in Mississippi walked up to the cart and he was in his chair in the basket. I can't remember the name of that right now. And she was like, "I want to take you from your mama." I was like, "What? What just happened? Like, are you serious?" So after that point, I stopped letting people like get really close to him. But now he's all over people, running around, asking people for hugs, touching them. Uh, so it's a little bit harder to make sure that he's controlled or corralled. Like yesterday we were at Walmart and I was on the phone with my aunt, and she was like, "Well, my baby." I was like, "He right there, you don't hear him?" It's like, "No, stop, come back." And then I was like, "You know what? It's time to get in the cart." And so I put him in the cart. He cried for like a second or two, a few seconds, not a long cry. And I was just like, she was like, "I knew it was coming. I could tell." It's like, "Yeah, you knew it was coming." This part is a little bit tricky or messy, I guess, only because I want to get the entire horse saturated with paint, and so I oversaturated one side, and I'm just letting that paintbrush sit in there. I try to reuse my sponge brushes. I know you're probably thinking, you have all those brushes, why? I'm cheap. That's the honest truth, I suppose. It's only one way to put it out there. And plus, I feel like after one application, like 3 or 4 applications, I can throw it away. But I just let it sit in the water, and then I run under hot water in the bathroom, and I clean the brush and I reuse it. But like when I tried using acrylic paint before, I was just like, "Oh, I'm stuck with this." So like that was my red brush, and I only used like 2 colors, 2 or 3 colors, red, blue, and like a teal. Because right after the baby was born, I had used some of my canvas to become an artist, right? I was like so inspired by the art sharper. Like I was watching her videos like every day on a daily basis. But then I decided I didn't want to be a painter. um, so I was like, I got all this paper. Let me cut some of this paper up. And I was watching someone do a flip book. And I was just like, I want to try that. And so I was so nervous about trying that flip book. Like for the longest time, I was super nervous about it. And then Sylvia did a wish on one of the wishing channels, and I made a flip book. It's probably falling apart now, but I didn't, at that point I was like, yeah, this washi stuff is not for real use. It's just for pretty. Now it is some washi tape out there that is super strong, and I've run into a few of them before, a few washis. But for the most part, I think that they're just for show, honestly. Um, just going to get this really saturated on here, and I'll be back. Okay, while the little horse is drying, I'm just going to let it kind of dry on its own. And I am trying to find the end of the crochet, well, the yarn, not the crochet yarn. But of course, I am having a difficult time, which is nothing new, because usually when I'm trying to find the center, like the center, you can get, it's 2 ends on yarn. If you're familiar with yarn, you can get the center out, or you can get the edge piece out, and you saw the shape that the yarn was in. So yeah, it's just like pulling, I feel like I'm in a movie, a cartoon or something, because it's not coming out, the centerpiece that is, with the edge on there. So that's what I'm doing, and I'll be back. I decided to just go ahead and cut it. I want to work on some projects with some brown hair anyway, so it doesn't have to be directly from the center, which is fine and dandy with me. Okay, I did something I shouldn't have done. I wasn't going to do it, but I had to see what would happen. My pony has an infection, and it's called "Don't Use Your Heat Gun." So I will be grabbing a piece of fabric and stuffing it with some tissue or something and making a little saddle, because I was being impatient and I want to glue on this little tail. And now looking at the tail, it looks even worse. Um, so what I'm going to do is just close the video out, and see, it's broken. I've damaged it. But I'm going to keep this video so you all know not to do what I did. Um, it still looks cute. It's just not dry yet. So there's a lot to dry in his little back. Poor little horse. And And what I'll do is I'll come back and finish him up once he's actually dry. It says to wait 15 minutes, 15-20 minutes, and I applied a thick to moderate coat on there. So I'm gonna let it dry, and I'll just come back tomorrow or some another day and fix him up. So this is how he looks. I still think he's cute. Leave in the comment section below what you think we should name him. And nothing to do with his little horse illness. See? I probably could fix it. I may try to fix it. But until next time, happy crafting.